Ronaldo to Ronaldo! It's one of the great Old Trafford comebacks. Astonishing!
Istanbul 2, Manchester United 1. And that performance is not even a shock to me. It's not a shock to me because we've been performing like this for 2 years now under this manager. And for me even to say this manager is not good enough and continuously, I'm even tired of that. I've been Oli out from his first transfer market. Remember when he first came and we went on that amazing run, and then he signed his contracts as a permanent Manchester United manager, and we finished that season off extremely poorly. From the day he signed his contract, the next game that we played we were losing and we were drawing, and that raised eyebrows already for me. Then he went into his first transfer market, and before he bought any players he said that he's not going to be buying big players and he's not going to buy the best of players. He said he wanted young, hungry players and all these type of things. That for me also raised another eyebrow, because I know in football you need the best of players. You need best players. You need excellent players. You need world-class players. You need to have some of the best players. Yes, you don't need to have an 11 full of the best players, but you need to have some of them. So the fact that he said he's not buying those type of players already raised eyebrows to me. Then when I saw his first transfer, Daniel James, that's when I said this manager needs to get out the club. Because the transfer market will reveal everything to you. Everything to you. The fact that he doesn't know how to identify talent tells me already he doesn't know what he's doing. And so when he bought Daniel James and then he wanted Sean Longstaff straight after that, that's when I said this guy needs to go. He has no clue what he is doing. And the season started and we done poorly. Just like how this season we started badly, we started that season as well. It weren't good. And just before Bruno came, we went on a very, very bad run. And already I was always saying Oli needs to get out. So the fact that we are now here 2 years later in his second full season and he's still performing like this, his team is still performing like this, is not a shock to me. Because I've always said, from the first day I always said Oli is not good enough to manage Manchester United. When I look at his CV, I got nothing against the guy. I got nothing against him. I don't know him personally, but when I read his CV tells me all I need to know. And then when we gave him a chance, Manchester United gave him a chance, and he's fluffing his lines. There were people that were saying he's learning on the job. Remember when he first came in his first full season, people were saying, oh, Oli's learning on the job, give him time. First of all, that should never be the case with any Manchester United manager. Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the biggest club in England. Liverpool don't have a manager that's learning on the job and they're winning titles. Manchester City don't have a manager that's learning on the job and they're winning titles. So the fact that we call ourselves the biggest club in England and we have a manager that's learning on the job, that for me is unacceptable. That's unacceptable that you can have a manager that's learning on the job. So, and he is not even learning, guys. It's one thing to say that, okay, the people are saying he's learning on the job, but he's not learning on the job, because if you can remember, when he first came, his in-game management, we all critiqued his in-game management. We said Oli needs to learn how to manage a game, how to manage a football game from the touchline. His substitutions were off. Whenever the team goes into halftime team talks, they come out worse. They come out with no identity and no plan. And we said that Oli in-game management is not good. He's not learned from that, guys. It's 2 years now. He still has not learned. His substitutions are still off. His substitutions are still poor, guys. So he's not learning on the job. It's one thing if he learns his lesson last year and he's not repeating it again. How many years must it take a manager to learn how to properly substitute the right player and bring on the right player? How many years, guys? It's 2 years. Oli still don't know how to do that. It's 2 years that we as the fans, we can see which players need to come off and those players don't come off. It's 2 years. And you know what makes me frustrated? Remember I told you in my previous video, I told you that at a time such as this, where we have an ex-player, where we have a legend of the club managing the club, I said at a time like this, you cannot listen to any ex-player's analysis of Manchester United. You cannot. So it's your Rio Ferdinands, it's your Gary Neville, it's your Paul Scholes, it's all these guys. We cannot listen to them at a time like this because they are extremely biased. Extremely. These guys, are calling out all the players. Not all the players, sorry. These guys are calling out players. Every review that they give of Manchester United's games, they're calling out players and saying this player weren't good enough. These players need to step up. These players need to do better. But not once have I heard them critique Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Not once have they said, Ole got it wrong today. Ole's tactics were wrong. The formation was wrong. The style of play was wrong. Not once, guys. But yet these were the same people when Louis van Gaal was there. These were the same people that were criticizing Louis van Gaal and said that Louis van Gaal was playing boring football. Remember when Van Gaal was there, we were passing sideways. We were playing possession football, but we were just keeping it sideways. We weren't taking risks. We weren't making forward passes. And these were the same guys that were calling Van Gaal out for boring football. Each and every review, each and every session that they had to do punditory work against on Manchester United, they were saying Louis van Gaal is not a good manager, he is a boring manager. Jose Mourinho came. These were the same guys that said Jose Mourinho is a negative manager, criticizing Jose Mourinho for parking the bus every game. Yet Ole is here. Ole doesn't have a style of play. Ole doesn't know what he's doing. His substitutions are off. And not once have I heard them ever calling Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Not once. So you cannot listen to these guys. They are biased. Because obviously maybe Sir Alex Ferguson told them, you know, you need to stick behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You cannot call him out on TV. You played with him. He's a legend of the club. You'll need to stick by him. And that's what they're doing. So at a time like this, we cannot listen to them. At a time like this, we need to be listening to your Tim Sherwoods and those type of people. Even though Tim Sherwood, he talks sometimes, his things that he talks is off. But with regards to Manchester United, he knows what's happening because his heart is not in there. He's thinking with his head, not with his heart. And you see all those other ex-players that are now pundits, they're thinking with their heart. That's why they'll never criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And even Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes came out criticizing Pogba and Martial in the game now against Istanbul. Criticizing Paul Pogba and Martial. First of all, how do you criticize Anthony Martial when he scored the goal? He scored a goal. So before you criticize Martial, let's talk about Rashford. Because Rashford is non-existent in the game. I can't remember Rashford doing anything. So before you talk about Martial, let's talk about Rashford. Then you talk about Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba was a substitute player. He came on as a sub. How do you talk about a sub? When Paul Pogba came on, we were already losing the game. So before you talk about Paul Pogba, let's talk about Bruno Fernandes that lost the ball 17 times in the first half, that in total the whole game lost the ball I think 36 times. Did not create not one chance. He's playing number 10, guys. He's playing number 10. He's getting on the ball because we had possession in this game. He did not create not one chance. So before you talk about Pogba, let's talk about the other players. But you know what it is, guys? It's the pundits, the ex-players, and most of the media. They don't talk about English players. When it comes to Manchester United, they don't talk about English players. They don't talk about the academy players. It's always the foreign players, and the main foreign players is the black players. Because the truth of the matter is, these guys got a heart issue. A lot of them are racist, and that's the truth of the matter. And so they never ever criticize all these players. No criticism of Marcus Rashford. Bruno Fernandes is immune to criticism. Bruno Fernandes has been poor for the last couple of games, guys. Let's watch football for what it is. And let's not get this sidetracks by scoring penalties. You can get someone off the road. Off the road, you can get someone from Sunday League football that can score penalties. So don't tell me that a penalty is covering up a player's performances. But that's what it's doing for Bruno. Because people don't know how to analyze football. So they're just analyzing football in moments. But here's my thing. Paul Scholes is criticizing Martial because, okay, Martial's game wasn't so good, but he scored a goal. So if you can separate the goal from the performance, why can't you do that for Bruno Fernandes? Is it because he's not black? Why can't you do that? Because Bruno, if he's not scoring, he's not doing much in the game. So when you look at the performance now against Istanbul, Bruno was the worst player on the pitch. We played Arsenal. Bruno done nothing against Arsenal. He was poor against Arsenal. We versed Chelsea. Bruno was poor against Chelsea. When we played PSG, Bruno was poor. He scored a penalty. He scored a penalty, but he was poor the whole game. So there has been games where Bruno's been poor, but no one picks it up. But let Paul Pogba have one bad game. It's over. Crucify him. And these people got an agenda. a deep-rooted agenda against players like Martial and Pogba. And one of it is because they are black. And that is the situation. That is the situation. Let's call a spade a spade. I told you on my channel, guys, it's 100% transparency. I'm not covering up anything. That is the truth of the matter. So when you look at the performance now against Istanbul, let's cut it up. Oli played so many midfielders. And for me, on paper, some team sheets, when you look at it, the same we play in a diamond, some said 4-2-3-1. When I look at it now, it says we played 4-2-3-1 on paper. But from the minute one, I even tweeted and I said, can someone tell me what formation are we playing? Because I couldn't see. Everybody was everywhere. I saw one Mata playing on the right. Then I saw one Mata in the 10 position. Then I saw Bruno Fernandes in the 10 position. Then I saw him on the left. Then I saw Tony van der Beek in the 10 position. And I saw him as a box-to-box midfielder. Then I saw Marcus Rashford playing with Anthony Martial up front, both of them. Then I saw Marcus Rashford on the left wing. So I don't know what was the formation in that game. For me, all he just told those boys, go out and play. That's what he said, go out and play and rotate between yourselves. It was freestyle football. There was no formation. And that you put at the manager's feet. But no one is talking about that. No one in the mainstream media is talking about that. There was no formation when we played. What was the players' positions? Because the players were all over. What was their positions? No one knew what's their positions. Our fullbacks were so high up the field. Why? You need to coach that. If your fullbacks are going so high, you need to make sure that you have at least one or two holding midfielders that are just sitting there. My criticism of Oli when he plays 4-2-3-1 from last season is, why are we playing so defensive? Because when we play 4-2-3-1, our fullbacks don't attack. First of all, our fullbacks cannot attack. Wan-Bissaka cannot attack. He doesn't have the abilities. Poor going forward. Luke Shaw has the ability, but he's lazy. And he doesn't want to. So at all times, we have 4 at the back. And then Oli still puts 2 defensive midfielders in that front of that back 4. So we defend with 6. But now against Istanbul, we played something like a diamond. And all of a sudden, Oli told his fullbacks to attack. And we had one holding midfielder. So you tell me, does this manager really understand the game of football? Does he know what he's doing? And the answer is no, he has no clue what he is doing. No clue. His team selections, look here, guys, Oli is in a big problem. Because you know when a manager's facing the sack, most managers when they are facing the sack, they don't know their best 11. Remember when Jose Mourinho got sacked? He never knew his best 11. He was benching Paul Pogba. One week he's benching Alexis Sanchez, the next week Alexis Sanchez is starting, and so forth and so on. He never knows his best 11. He's changing his 11 each and every game. And inevitably he got sacked. Oli got so bad with Oli because Oli doesn't know his best formation, first of all. He doesn't have a formation. It's either we're playing 4-2-3-1 or we're playing 4-4-2 diamond. He doesn't even have a formation. One. Then he doesn't even have an 11. He doesn't even have a starting 11. Every week the starting 11 is changing. I wouldn't be surprised when we play Everton right now if we change our starting 11. I won't be surprised to see Fred and McTominay back again and Paul Pogba on the bench. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised because this is just what the manager's doing. He doesn't have a formation and he doesn't have a starting 11. And that's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. And this Everton game right now, for me, it's a massive game for Oli. It's a massive game because we on the back of poor results, 2 defeats in a row. And if we go into that Everton game, and if we come out that Everton game without 3 points, I'm telling you the pressure's on Oli. Even if we draw that game, a draw is not good enough. Because after that, it's international break and it's peak for Oli, guys. It's peak and it's not going to get better. There's no use of us hoping and sucking our thumbs, hoping it will get better. It won't. This has been happening for 2 years now. 2 years. And it's showing no sign of change. Because for 2 years, we still don't have a style of play. We still don't know how to play football. When you give us the ball, we've got big problems. When the onus is on Manchester United to take the game by the scruff of the neck and go and win the game and go and play a game of football and take the game to the opposition, we die. We completely die. We cannot do that. But when we have to play second fiddle in terms of when we have to play counter-attack in football and sitting back, we do well. Guys, counter-attack is the easiest thing to coach in football. It's literally the easiest thing. All you tell the players, stay behind the ball, and the minute the opposition lose the ball, attack spaces. You don't need to be a fantastic manager or coach to coach counter-attack in football. Anyone can run into an open space, and that's literally what counter-attack is. There is spaces at the back and you run into the open space. So this is the only tactic the manager has. The minute you give us the ball, it's 2 years later, and the minute you give us the ball, we still don't know how to play football. So I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this because it's clearly he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have a formation, doesn't have a starting 11. His players that he picks are wrong all the time. And it clearly looks like some players aren't playing for him, but some players really know he's a poor manager. You can actually see that. So this is the situation with Oli. And when you look at also speaking about his substitutions, he's not learning. He's never learned. So this notion we have a manager that's learning on the job, he's not learning on the job. He doesn't know what he's doing. From the first day to this day, he doesn't know what he's doing. Look at his substitutions. Look at the substitutions. He takes, he brings Scott McTominay off. We need to score a goal. He brings Scott McTominay off. He takes Donny van der Beek off. How do you take Donny van der Beek? Donny van der Beek was our best midfield player. Our best midfield player. He won losing the ball. On the other hand, you got Bruno Fernandes that lost the ball 30-something times in the game. In the first half, he lost the ball 17 times. And you leave Bruno on and you take Donny van der Beek off. Clearly you don't know what you're doing. Or maybe you're keeping Bruno on there so we get a penalty. But he takes Donny van der Beek off. And he brings on Scott McTominay. We need to score a goal. He's bringing Scott McTominay on. He pushes Nemanja Matic to left back, to left centre back. Matic playing centre back. This is the same thing Jose was doing, guys, when Jose got sacked. Jose played Scott McTominay as a centre back. The minute a manager starts doing these things, he's on the verge of getting sacked. And so when Oli brought on all these players, Paul Pogba, Cavani, Greenwood, when all these players came on, there was clearly no tactical change. There was clearly no instructions given to the players as to where they need to be on the pitch, what they need to do. Because I saw Cavani. Cavani is was one of the most potent strikers in Europe. Clinical goal scorer, box striker. I saw Cavani drift into the left wing. Now, I don't know why, but I'm sure if you and I were the manager, I'm sure we tell Cavani stay in the box. And with Cavani staying in the box, you tell Luke Shaw cross the ball. You tell Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes cross the ball because Cavani is in the box. So all these attacking players came on and there was still no formation. The whole game against Istanbul, there was no formation. And so if I have to give a player rating, let's give a player ratings. I haven't done one for long. Wan-Bissaka, probably, you never do much. 5. The defender Axel Tanzabi, okay, 5. No, let's be real here. 6 Wan-Bissaka, 6 Axel Tanzabi, 4 for Harry Maguire. The reason why I'm saying 4 for Harry Maguire, the first goal. What did Harry Maguire? Look, listen here. This is another reason why I say, guys, these pundits are so biased. They'll never criticize any English player. Harry Maguire is the captain, first of all. So as a captain, you need to organize your team. Second of all, he is the lead centre back. He is a centre back. It's your duty to make sure we have a defensive organization on the pitch at that moment. The first goal has got nothing to do with Oli. Because we know every single manager, no matter how poor they are, every manager tells a team what to do in corners and in set pieces. And if the team don't do that, it's up to the players. So Harry Maguire is the sole person that's responsible as the captain and as a centre back for organizing the last man, for organizing their player to be a last man for that corner in case a break happens. They had a break against us and Demba Ba was free, and that's Harry Maguire. So Harry Maguire, I give him a 4 for that. Luke Shaw, out of position for the goals, out of position for the second goal. Where was he? I give Luke Shaw a 5. He got the assist. So okay, I give him a 6. He got the assist, but he caused also the second goal. Where was he? Out of position. I give him a 6. Then we go into the midfield. Nemanja Matic in the midfield. I'll give him a 5. He didn't do much. Juan Mata, a 5. Never do anything. Donny van der Beek, I probably give him a 6. He was the best midfield player. He kept things ticking. I give Donny van der Beek a 6. Bruno Fernandes a 4. A 4. Our worst player on the pitch, Bruno Fernandes a 4. Marcus Rashford a 4. Never see Marcus Rashford. Done absolutely nothing in the game, a 4. Anthony Martial a 6. He scored the goal. Once a very good performance, but he scored a goal. The substitutions, Paul Pogba 5. Never do much. Cavani 5. Never do anything. Greenwood came on, never do anything, 5. That's basically it. Scott McTominay 5. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 1. 1. I give him a 1, guys. That performance was solely down to the manager, and if you ask me, it almost looks like some of the players have down tools, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Rightfully downing tools. This manager needs to get out the club. Pochettino is there on Monday Night Football. Get him off Monday Night Football, get him into training ground, and let him be Manchester United manager. 2 years now, we haven't had a proper footballing manager. Everton is peak. I'll see you all.